me one more chance, please.
I've gone 5-0
getting
me below 2,000. Like, you know, this game means me, but I love the game. And speaking of the game, we're ready. Is that a bucket deco?
No.
Okay.
But that's a Milky Way and comp if I've ever seen it from Crushing 20s.
Very true. We'll see how that ends up working out for them. Once again, we do see that Splatter Shot Pro. I love to see it. I feel like on zones, you tend to see the Frozen Pro, but I think both are really good here, especially because Robo Ramen has this choke point in this elbow, and throwing a Booyah Bomb there and displacing everyone can be really helpful.
It really can. It's so effective. So is Free Fire for a similar reason, but you do put your life a little more on the line. And Oro does get punished for it, but it cleared so much space for their teammates that they are just able to keep pushing forward. The Zap doing an excellent job painting up, allowing their teammates to move around as needed, and their Charger not hesitating to take a pretty strong position at times.
Yeah, which is especially interesting because this being the V Charger, they didn't even necessarily have their back ready. Sometimes you see people acting really bold, and then you realize it's because they have a splashdown, because they have a back or something to that extent. So being in that aggressive position, really good on them, but all the while, Crushing 20s have gotten their way back into mid and stopped Oro from that really strong push that they had.
Yeah, and now they're looking to move forward, but not overextending in the process, acknowledging the strength that Oro has shown, and looking to find the right moments to take their fights. Not rushing in without specials, but the Reef Slider comes out again, finds one, Starman tries to follow up, able to find the splashdown pick, and now we're seeing Oro back in pretty solid control, capitalizing on the space they've gained, and playing these team fights really well, always trying to get 2v1s whenever they can.
Kind of sad because I think that's why Crushing 20s was playing so careful. We saw that, I saw that they had their back and their Reef Slider. So they're like, I don't want to get run over by a Reef Slider, but really good trick shot here from Nathan. I think just gonna shoot that back by the Charger there. All the while, they're setting themselves up. Once again, they weren't being so aggressive last time, but this time they're looking for this knockout. So they have the lead, they have what they need, and a lot of good picks to move, especially with these tri-strikes. They're in really good position.
Yeah, they are. Really incredible job, really great special timing, enabling them to get where they need to get, and that Totally player doing a great job of dodging and dashing around, finding where their teammates need them, and being a great distraction. But the back coming out, they're trying to find this zone in the last few seconds. Ink back shot coming out, able to flip the zone. Not going to be enough to get them a hold, but enough to keep them in the game for now.
Yes, that's gotta be annoying if you're Crushing 20s, so close to the knockout yet so far away, and so they're going to incur this large penalty, but they're making their way through it so far. They have a crab in their elbow, active here as well. That Reflex is going to cancel it out, however, but it feels like ever since then, Oro hasn't been able to put them in neutral again. That stopping them from knocking out was just a bit of damage control, and they're not able to get into mid.
Yeah, it does feel like they're struggling to. They have a little bit of time left to work with. They find another cap, but the brutal thing for Oro right now is Crushing 20s just needs to keep reapplying penalty points. They just need small caps, and with triple Ink Strike and Booyah Bomb, they can force those whenever they want. They really need to make sure that they're able to focus. Oro needs to make sure that they're able to focus on taking down that Slosher and that Forge Pro to even try and get a good hold in.
Yeah, that's been the issue here. Their holds have been a little bit flimsy. They get the zone back, but at what cost? 3 of their members are down. It's just going to be that Dreadringer who's trying desperately to keep that elbow, but they have to jump out. It's just not worth it at the end of the day. And you see Crushing 20s, they're all over that. They're in the choke, dodge rolling, wheeling and dealing, and finally they are once again here. And although luckily for them, this is post-patch Reef Slider, and it's not able to take that zone once again.
Yeah, much more lethal, much less painting, which goods and bads to both. It definitely has reduced the number of Dreadringers we see, which, quite frankly, I'm not going to complain about seeing less Dreadringers in low.
I'm in agreement. I
I respect you, Dreadringer players, but you do one thing. Not anymore. You did one thing. Now you're adventurous, and I respect you.
Now you're largely on another weapon. A lot of the people have just abandoned it, unfortunately. But you're a real one if you stuck with it. But unfortunately, not going to help them here in this best of 5. Crushing 20s really does crush in this first game. It was looking even, but at a certain point, I feel like it was kind of oppressive. Really good work.
I very much so agree. And I feel like one of the things that really helps them out, or maybe it's not something they're doing, but it wouldn't shock me if they are, because that's Moonlight's comp. Not Moonlight, sorry, Milky Way's comp.
Okay.
Yeah, two space themes. It hurts my brain.
Right. And then in the finals, and then...
Exactly. But since they're running Milky Way's comp, they have a lot of really great footage to work from and learn from, and a lot of their positioning there wasn't exactly the same as what Milky Way does, unsurprisingly, but there were definitely inspos taken, and that can make such a big difference in having VODs to watch, that you can see top teams, top players doing what your weapons ideally like to do.
I think it's also helpful because obviously they run it because it's just a well-rounded comp.
It's a bunch of weapons that function super well individually and do fine together. So if you have good individual players, it'll work out usually.
Yeah, like none of these members are like wanting for paint and it's like, oh, we don't have that or anything like that. They're all very self-sufficient and they can help each other out. The counter pick from Oro is going to be Clam Blitz Scorch Gorge, which Clam Blitz Scorch Gorge, at the end of the day, I feel like you end up seeing a lot of counter pushes due to how small that mid is. In most Clam Blitz stages, people just kind of throw themselves at the basket and they're like, I don't care if I go down as long as I get all the clams I'm holding into the basket.
You are. It's so important in Clam Blitz and in Rainmaker to make sure you're never really getting wiped out, because losing mid is so consequential. And we're seeing a very similar comp coming out here from Crushing 20s. No surprises there, it went well for them. But the switch to the Tri-Slosher Nouveau is interesting from Oro.
Yes. Did they have a Zap? What were they running?
They did. They were running a Zap before.
Well, perhaps I'm thinking that it might be the Fizzy that they're looking towards.
And the cooler.
Yes, I think like coming off of Zap and still wanting that cooler, perhaps it's helpful to be able to Fizzy for a push. But I think that Tri-Slosher found a little bit flat-footed and in the wrong because while you're fighting people in mid, Crushing 20s is already at the basket and already past that 60-point mark.
Yeah, really great job there. I always love to see teams get below that 60-point mark. I've said it about 2 bajillion times. And Crushing 20 is going to be needing to look for a way to make sure they don't lose mid here, and doing quite well at that.
Yes, the fact that they weren't staggering after losing those 2 people in the Reef Slider is really strong work, but ultimately they are still running that back. That's going to be super helpful. Usually you have your backline hold it, but being able to just kind of chuck it forward and back is going to make it very helpful, because you see they have a pretty strong hold on this push so far. They 2 of them go down, but they were in spinning distance of possibly taking that lead, but not going to happen. They stopped there at 59. At least it's past 60 though.
That's true. And really great job here from Crushing 20s, finding quick openings, coming back into mid, but not able to really establish a foothold. Triple ink strikes coming out here from Tone Warrior, looking to help find space for their teammates to move forward. But Oro doing a great job of regaining control of mid and looking to find another push here.
Gotta say, maybe those tri-strikes a little earlier, maybe a little bit wasted. Aside, it doesn't necessarily have to find those picks, but I feel like they already kind of had mid for those to be drawn out. Ultimately, that is the last person that's left. They do get the pick and the flow aura, but they're picked off, so ultimately maybe it doesn't matter all that much. And all the while, Crushing 20s are just kind of playing footsie a little bit in this mid. They don't have the clam economy to have a solid push in yet, but hopefully they're working on it, seeing as though they have the clams to do so. They just have to transfer them properly.
I mean, that transference can take a little bit longer than you'd want sometimes. Crushing 20s not able to find the push this time. Oro back up in time with a reef slider, with a vacuum. Going to be a hard time until they find those picks. But one player going down, two down. This is Crushing 20's chance.
And here come the tri-strikes, forcing everybody out from under their own basket. The back is active, and on the other side, there's that splashdown. Nathan doing a really good job of surviving that, especially I saw a Fizzy getting thrown as well, and all the while, 3 members down for Oro. That is devastating, and I think that is going to be the game as well. Crushing 20s once again.
Doing a great job. They know what they want to do. They know how their comp wants to do it. They're really good at taking the opportunities they get, and they've been doing an excellent job at not getting fully wiped out and finding those moments.
Yes, I think just really big ups for them. I feel like they're understanding the state of the game really well, when it's time to push, what they can get away with. And that's helping them just do so well here. Oro, I feel like I'm seeing some players sometimes overextending, sometimes out of position, versus Crushing 20s have really solid teamwork that I'm seeing out of them. And their gameplay is just very tight. I think I'm wondering what Oro is going to pick for a counter pick now that Clam Blitz Scorched Gorge went really poorly. Because there's not really any clear... There's a reason why Milky Way kind of runs what they do. There's not really many... like, what are you counter-picking for? The pen?
Which is rough, because you also want to make sure that the dually isn't able to get in constant flanks. You want to make sure that the slosher isn't finding those really great opportunities to line up with the Snipe Rider. There's just so many things that work so cohesively in that comp. The numbers line up. The weapons can move around so freely, and it makes it really challenging. And the support from, and I know it's weird to call a Splattershot Pro a support, but in these days it often kind of is. And it works really well at helping to enable the bucket and the dualies.
Now, when you're looking at what you're going to counterpick to, I'd imagine they try to stay away from tower, on paper at the very least, because they're looking down a Booyah and triple ink strikes. But you
don't want to go back to zones. And if Clam Blitz didn't go well, I don't know that you want to go to a Rainmaker.
I think this is a bit of a Hail Mary pick. It is going to be tower shipshape.
You know, close enough. It's close enough. You know, they're both snowbally in very different ways.
Ship place.
Yeah, ship map is ship map. We should, you know, maybe it would be good for them to have to learn how to play Sturgeon Shipyard.
Listen, I don't want to play on either of those.
Yeah.
Same thing, whatever. Tower ship, like we said earlier on, probably the most snowbally tower stage, I'd argue, in the entire game. It doesn't get...
That we play in comp? Absolutely.
Yeah, that we... Wait. What's worse?
What out of... give me a second to look at all of the maps.
Like
I'm so confident that there's something that upsets me more.
This is the only one I guess I have to play. Chances are, if it's that bad and I see it in solo queue, I just won't queue up.
Exactly.
So
it's not like Splatoon. I think Robo Roman might be worse for Snowball once you're past that second checkpoint.
Well,
but I think there's...
there, so I'm just like, I'm having a ball.
That's so real of you. That's so real. It's why I don't play that stage and mode combination. No surprises here. Yeah, I don't like the sound clash blast grenades. It's a
Well,
weird issue.
yeah, and that's not crazy either. Fair enough. Like
but
you
we're
said,
seeing
no
same comp
change.
out of Crushing 20s.
Oro switching back off of that Tri-Slosher, back to the Zap, something a bit more conventional. And of course they have that Sea Blaster, hopefully that's going to help them with clearing tower as well as the Blaster itself after that AoE. But both of these teams, they got a scuffle right off the top to get the space and the pick so that they feel comfortable going forward. But so far, it looks like neither team is quite going to get.
Yeah, it's oftentimes this map has a slow start and a fast finish. It's definitely a lot of beating to build the momentum, but it looks like Crushing 20s has already found it because this checkpoint's the one to break, and they are about to. They have Tri-Strikes at the ready, they have Crab just about. They can really stagger these specials to keep this push just continuously flowing, but the 2 picks coming out, gonna shut it down quickly. Maybe they held on to those specials for a second too long.
Yes, they're coming out now. I think Starman just dodging those Tri-Strikes, Tone Warrior, maybe knowing in this 2v1 they're not in a great place, but they allow Nathan to take that tower in the meantime, and especially because they have their Booyah, but the back is active and they just barely got Booyah, the place where the back is, but down to 15. If they're able to hold this, we might be seeing a knockout coming soon.
Definitely could. It seems like Oro is doing a pretty decent job of getting back towards mid, though. They have that triple splashdown at the ready. Not necessarily a special you want to rely on. Starman having to jump back. And Crushing 20 is just looking so dominant throughout this set and doing such an excellent job of playing into this comp. And look at this pinch that the Snipe Rider and Slosher have been creating.
Oh my gosh, that's just going to be it here. We saw the snowball firsthand. I think we already called that this may have been a bit of a poor choice taking a team like Crushing 20s to tower, given the specials they have, the weapons that they have. Forge is practically tailor-made for tower as well, so they hedged their bets and unfortunately didn't work out so well for them.